Hey everyone, I'm doing my John Maxwell and continuing with Make Today Count, and it's on commitment. It's asking us 3 questions. Have you already made the decision to make and keep proper commitments daily? If so, when did you make that decision and what exactly did you decide? So I want to talk a little bit more about the commitments I made as an immigrant to Canada. I committed to getting my master's. I committed to getting my diploma in spiritual direction, to completing my HR studies, and I completed them. Nobody put their faith in me. Nobody trusted me. Nobody believed that I could do it. And even when my uncle came to my graduation, he told me, "You did it on your own. None of us encouraged you. None of us were there for you." And I said to him, "Well, I wanted to do it, and thank you for coming to celebrate and to be at my graduation." I had a limited number of tickets, so I could not invite everyone that I wanted to invite. And my uncle from California couldn't come. If I had known in advance that he wasn't coming, I would have invited my sister. But unfortunately, I didn't know in advance. But when you talk about commitments and you're on your own, it's not easy, because I had a place, I had bought a condo. I was trying to juggle that, trying to get work. And every place I worked at, they brought me in on a temporary position. And then they said, "Oh, there's no position, we're going to let you go." And it went on and on and on and on. And it was becoming very discouraging for me. But I persevered. I completed my Rotman qualifications in 2003. I completed my master's and I completed my diploma in spiritual direction. And I graduated at the top of my class. I was an A student because I had very, very good teachers. And those daily commitments, you have to keep them. I studied, I got my books, I got second-hand books if I had to. I went to Crux bookstore. I did what I had to do, and today I am using my skills. I use my HR skills when I'm mentoring others and new immigrants to Canada. I use my theology in the church. I use my diploma in spiritual direction when I help to give retreats online, or when I help to give prayer groups. I participate in prayer groups in my church, and I enjoy it. So it's benefiting my community. I'm not making the money that I would like to make compared to people that I started with at TD, who went on to HR management positions and other senior level positions. I did not get those opportunities, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to persevere, and I'm going to try my best to get back into the kinds of positions that will pay me what I am worth and what I want to earn, so that I can buy a place. I know that when I worked at TD, they had this big campaign the year that I was let go, and it was for gay people. And they put up all these posters in the TTC, all over TD. They ran all these adverts, and I was shocked because I thought, okay, well, we have gay people at home. We have people that live together. I'm talking about Zimbabwe. But I'd never encountered anything like that. And this big push for gay rights and fair, equal treatment. I didn't realize that when people are gay, they don't get the same benefits. They don't get treated the same way. They get targeted. They get killed. I think in Africa, some of these things, people just move on with their lives. They don't really... You get treated like a person, and you get treated the same. If you get benefits, you all get benefits. If you don't get, you don't get. But anyway, it was a big shock to me. And I never said anything because I didn't see a need for me to speak up and say anything. But we did have people in our own communities that married people who were Black, people who were white, people who were Muslims, people who were Hindus. We had people that got married like that. We had our own family friends, and they came over to our house. They were invited over. They spent weekends with us. we had Goan guys marrying black girls. And I guess for me, I just, a lot of this prejudice and the way people view things, it shocked me when I watched the movies about people getting killed because they were gay and because they were of different races or different backgrounds. Even what happened in India at the independence, it shocked me. I know we had our war in Zimbabwe, and that was because we broke away from Britain with UDI, and people were fighting for equality for everybody. And then I came to Canada and I found out actually Canada started apartheid, and I was shocked. So I made my commitments. I was an activist. I helped Bono and the One campaign. But in the end, I decided I've done enough. It's time for the next generation to take over. And it was hard for me. I found it very intimidating to go and meet with Marco Mendocino and meet with the Minister of Finance and all these people. And I used to tell Marco's team, I said, I know him, but I'm still nervous to sit down and talk to him. And it wasn't easy. We got pushback. How can I take this and present it to the Prime Minister? So, I mean, if you're new to a position and you're finding it hard and you're trying to approach the minister and that's how the minister deals with you, it's very, very hard. Anyway, I used to go back to one. They used to guide me. They used to give me material. They used to send out starter packs for us with pins, with things we could leave, to ask people to recruit people. And I did recruit people as well. I mentored other people, but most of them, once they came out and they met the MP and they met Marco, they just said, we're not coming back. We don't know how you do it, but he didn't seem really interested and he didn't seem to be too enthusiastic about it. And I said to them, well, that's what we have to do. So, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I did try to recruit people. I got published in the Reader's Digest. And that's what commitment is about. It's just taking the next step and doing it in faith. Even when I did my John Maxwell, I didn't have the money. But one of my high school friends invited me. And she said, maybe this will help you because they have a different mindset to what we have. And it has helped me. I approach things differently now. And I implement what I learn in John Maxwell, what I receive from my mentors, and in how I approach people in the North American market. And I'm not myself here. When I go home, or if I go home to South Africa, I'm myself. But here I know how to approach people, who I can be myself with, who I can't be myself with. And it's a skill. You have to learn it. I was myself in England, and it was a big, big, big culture shock coming here to Canada. But that's what commitment does. It changed things. I never gave up halfway. I used to pay $99 a month for 3 years. That's what I did until I paid off my John Maxwell fees. And then I got my license, so I can speak now as a John Maxwell speaker. And I've improved my skills. I was a speaker before that. I did it for the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, and that was close to my heart because I went to university in South Africa. I know what poverty is in my own family, as well as what I've experienced and witnessed in South Africa and Zimbabwe. And I used to go with my grandfather to the townships. I used to go and hand out the food and blankets in the winter, and we did a lot. Our family did a lot. Even though we were poor, we did a lot to help others. And I've kept that spirit. I've tried to volunteer to be a good citizen of this country, and I'll keep fighting. Of course, you're going to have people who don't like you, who go against you, who want to spoil your reputation. You're going to have people who to your face will tell everyone they like you, but behind your back, they know what they're doing and they're doing it intentionally. So that's part of life. It doesn't only happen in Canada, it happens everywhere. And the violence today just reminds me so much of how we grew up in that war and the police violence, the police brutality. It's very, very scary. But we make our commitments and we keep them on a daily basis. I make my commitment to read my John Maxwell. I make my commitment to pray every day. I make my commitment to exercise and have good hygiene, to eat healthy. Those are all commitments. They don't just happen. I don't go out and buy takeaways every day. I don't eat out at restaurants. I hardly ever go out to a movie because I don't have the money to do it. Now and again, yes, I do go, but I can count on my hand. The last movie I went and paid for was the Elvis movie. Before that, it was 2 years ago to see a movie with one of my colleagues at work. So that's how we keep our commitments, and that's what we have to do. And people make their own choices just because we are confirmed in our faith and brought up in our faith. Not everybody keeps that. Once we become adults, we make our own choices about what we want to do and how we want to live. So we have to choose on a daily basis what we want to be committed to. And that's why this year I decided I had enough of doing the one campaign. I didn't want to be constantly fighting with the MPs when it's their initiative. They're supposed to help us. And it wasn't only me saying that they don't help, they're not very friendly. So I decided it was time to move on. I did encourage Bono to come back out, to come to Canada. But when the plans were drawn up and made, and he went to America, he met with his volunteers. When he came to Canada, he decided not to meet with us. And I just decided, you know what, I've had enough. I spoke to my mom, to my family, and she said, you know what, from now on, put yourself first, Belinda, because you always help people, you always try to be there, and when you ask for things, you don't get things, not even a new t-shirt. So I do like Bono, I wish him the best, but I've done my activism, I've enjoyed it, I've learned a lot, and I've met interesting people along the way. And I've decided it was time for me to step down now and to do other things. And the African leaders also have to help themselves. We were Indians, we also got targeted, we also went through a lot. We had lost friends in the war, we lost family in the war. It wasn't only the black people that suffered. There were a lot of whites, a lot of coloreds, a lot of Indians in our community that fought for our rights too, and we suffered. And I mean, if they're going to continue with this view that Africa is for Africans and you must go and get out and we don't want you here and call us my Indians and all that, why would I go back? Right? It's time that they also looked at how they are treating us and their prejudice. And I've done a lot for Bono, and I wish him the best with his campaign. I used to make videos and encourage him to come out and send it to them. If I saw that people said, oh, where's Bono? We worried about him. I would encourage him. I would comment on his page. But I was being targeted. Every time I commented, someone would send me fake messages or Bitcoin or something or the other. So I just said, you know what, enough. I've got some of his music. I'll enjoy it. I'll listen to it. And I did it for a long, long time. Even before, when I was at university, I used to be interested in activism. But it's time now for a different phase in my life, and lots of people do it. The same with careers. People change careers. Just because you start out as an executive assistant doesn't mean you're going to stay there for the rest of your life. Or you start out in HR doesn't mean you're going to stay in HR for the rest of your life. We have to adapt and change, and we have to learn, because things are changing. Technology is changing everything. And if we don't change, we'll get left behind. And that's my commitment, is to keep changing and to keep learning new things so that I can be employed and I can have stability and I can have a stable life and earn good money. And that's my commitment. And as I earn more, I can give more and I can help others more. But if I don't even have enough for myself, how can I be expected to help others? I can't. if I can't even pay my rent and put food on the table and pay for my phone and pay for my internet, internet costs over $100, phone costs over $100. So if I can't even provide for myself, how am I expected to provide for others? I've done a lot of volunteering over the years, and I've given a lot. And now I'm focusing on making the commitment to continue to grow my skills so that I can earn a decent salary and I can provide for myself and help my loved ones.